Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning back into Relevant Jukebox, and today we're going to talk about the newest film from Bong Joon-Ho, Parasite. So quick disclaimer before I get into this review here, if you have not already seen Parasite, this review will contain spoilers coming down the line, so this will be your fair warning. So man, this movie has been hyped up all around the internet recently, getting a lot of buzz and receiving 6 Oscar nominations here, including Best Picture, which actually is a pretty significant milestone for this movie as it is a South Korean film, and this is also the first time that Bong's been nominated for Best Director. Now, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I thought this was going to be a straight-up horror film, but after finally seeing it now, it is somewhat more of like a dark comedy thriller. The plot follows the Kim family, who pretty much falls into the demographic of like the lower middle class, as they live in an apartment that's half underground, half above ground. Now, they all work low-paying jobs or don't have jobs at all and are kind of struggling to get by. Now, you gotta forgive me if I'm gonna start mispronouncing names from this movie, but the oldest son of the family, Ki-woo, does have a friend who seems to be pretty well established and connected. Now, his friend, whose name I actually really can't pronounce, I'm not gonna butcher it here, actually offers to have Ki-woo take over for him, tutoring the daughter of like this rich family while he goes on vacation, and he accepts, and from there, each member of the Kim family starts to weave themselves into this richer family's lives. The daughter ends up posing as a therapist and starts working with their youngest son. The dad ends up posing as a limo driver and starts driving around the Park family's father. And what's possibly most interesting is the mother ends up taking over as the main maid of the family by exploiting the current maid's allergy to peaches by sprinkling the peach fuzz over her all the time, and then posing as if she has tuberculosis to get the Park family to remove her from the duties. And this all kind of comes to fruition one night when the Park family ends up taking a vacation, and all of the Kim family resides in their amazingly stunning house for the night to witness a rainstorm. And during this rainstorm, the previous maid comes back to retrieve some of her belongings out of the basement, and you find out that her husband's actually living down there, and he's been being supported by the Park family full-time, sneaking food and living fully underground. And one event unfolds after another to make for a pretty climactic ending here with a lot of violence. Now, while I was watching this film, it didn't necessarily always have me on the edge of my seat, honestly. It's pretty dialogue heavy, and there's a lot of character development, and the plot points are pretty subtly peppered in for most of this film. If anything, I was stuck looking at a lot of it because the cinematography was beautiful. There was in particular the scene where the main son and his friend meet up outside of a convenience store in the city, and it is just so colorful, and the framing of the shot is just gorgeous the way it wraps around the corner. And what's also stunning to look at is the house that the Park family live in. Now, there are times in movies where the storyline isn't necessarily that grabbing, or like the characters really aren't doing much, but the setting and the place that the movie puts you in can be enough for you to enjoy it. I'm not saying that's what happens here, but there is almost overload at how interesting and amazing this house is. I really want to live in it. But what really became haunting about this movie actually wasn't while it was on screen, but actually after I left the film. Now, this rainstorm that the Kim family had buried themselves into this house to witness actually becomes a pretty significant moment for the film, as it completely washes away their half underground apartment, and the Park family's house just seems to be going on untouched like it was a normal day. Now, such a traumatic event does really have an interesting effect on the Kim's family's lives and how devastating it became as they lose everything. And the Park family just kind of goes along and just doesn't act like anything really happened. Now, there's actually a lot going on in this film that I think is more of a socio-political comment overall. Now, as this film concludes, you find out it is not a happy ending with the last scene. Now, basically, I think this movie is commenting mainly on the separation gap between the rich and the poor, but also climate change. Now, Bong is no stranger to making climate change comments in his films like he did in his movie Snowpiercer, and I think this is all signified by this rainstorm as it comes in and it shows you how there's a major difference between a major climate event happening like this affecting some of the lower class individuals versus how it would affect someone that is more privileged in the upper class. Now, overall, I thought this was actually an extremely well written and well directed film. I did have to kind of sit there and think about it for a while, but it did kind of slow burn and grab me a little bit later when I finished watching it. But I totally agree that it does deserve all the praise that it's getting, because just some of the scenery is just unbelievable. And yeah, there is this kind of like upbeat, like, comedic aspect to the film that can slightly be distracting at times, but overall I think the payoff is worth it. And with that being said, I'm feeling an 8 over here on Parasite. So keep a lookout for Parasite on Blu-ray. It's going to be out on January 28th. I'll leave an Amazon link down below if you guys want to pre-order that. And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to drop a like down below so more people can see it and share it. And if you enjoy movie reviews and album reviews and music discussions, then you're going to want to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace.